The one and two, you, Jim Holly here with you on this Saturday morning. 17 days in the month of March. That's right. The year's still the same, 2018. Once again, we say good morning to you, and we thank God for each and every one of you. And we thank you so much for being with us. I want you to know that indeed you're watching. It's your first time watching this program. I want you to know that it is a live talk show, and certainly you're welcome to call in. The numbers are right there on your television screen. And you're certainly welcome to give us a call and express your point of view. And then perhaps maybe it's something that you may have not been able to talk to other hosts throughout the week. We got a chance to do it today. And certainly we have open line on, for the most part, on these Saturdays. So we once again just say thank you so much for being with us. My sister and brother, we always like to start off by letting you know how grateful we are. Because again, as I've said down through the years, that people don't have to be nice, and when they are, at least you can do is say thank you. And certainly we want to be able to say that to you, because there are a lot of options you have here on that with that remote and on that television. And certainly we want you to know we're very grateful and very thankful for you to be with us. And also not only just for WHBR, but also for the program Hello Detroit. We thank you so much for your support on this program that we call Hello Detroit. It's right now about 7 minutes after the hour, and again we say good morning to you. But right now it's about 29 degrees in downtown Detroit on both sides of the street. We're talking about today about 45 degrees. It's cold, but it's a nice cold. It's not that bitter cold. It's not a biting cold. It's cold, but it's not that, it's nice. And certainly again we are in, of course, by the calendar, we are in the spring, but by the weather, by Mother Nature, it's still winter. As I said, the high is going to be today is going to be about 45 degrees, and on tomorrow about 52 degrees, and then on Monday we go down to about 42 degrees on Monday. There's no rain and no snow in the forecast for today or tomorrow. And we might have some developing situations coming in on next week. But for today and tomorrow, it looks like it's going to be dry and cold. And certainly we hope that indeed it'll be a good weekend wherever you are with your family and with your friends. And so we thank you for that as well. It's interesting. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Minister Farrakhan in terms of that. That the many of the conservative elements are asking for African American congressmen and also the senator, that's Democratic senator, asking them to basically to distance themselves from Mr. Farrakhan. And we talked a little bit. I brought it up on last week, and I thought maybe that you might want to talk a little bit more about that. I think two or three have done just that. They got the pressure from them, and and certainly Farrakhan has called them a sellout. And of course, they still pressuring the others congressmen to basically, as I said, distance themselves from Mr. Farrakhan by some of the remarks that he made on Savior's Day on a few weeks, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so it's just kind of interesting, and my sister and brother, Minister Farrakhan is basically has a great following, a great mind, and obviously says things that perhaps you and I may differ with in terms of some of the things, but for the most part, when you know the man, and you know the man like we know the man, like I think that many of you do. That indeed that for the most part, my sisters and brothers, that he's really just trying to just to raise our consciousness and try to make sure that we understand that indeed we do have some problems out there, and we can basically sleep, go to sleep, and basically close our eyes or put our heads in the sand. But I think each year when he comes on the Savior's Day, he basically try to wake up Black America. And again, as I said before, so it's just interesting to see. And I remember from time to time when he would come to visit here in Detroit or visit historic Little Rock Baptist Church, that there would be those who would, I would get those kind of calls from the media, get those kind of calls from various people asking me to do this, to do the same thing. But again, you and I know that for the most part, Mr. Farrakhan, we all have a lot more in terms of agreement than we have difference. And sometimes my sisters and brothers, we cannot allow people to basically to separate us from leadership, and people that basically down through the years have done so much to try to help the African American community. So it's just kind of interesting, and I thought maybe this morning you might want to talk a little bit about it, and in terms of what they're trying to do, this conservative element, basically trying to compare him with David Duke, and asking that congressmen, the various Congress people, would indeed distance themselves and denounce him. That's what they did when Jesse Jackson was running for president. I remember they asked him to denounce Minister Farrakhan, and of course there was he did just that. And of course, that's when I invited him to sit in Detroit, so that the minister could really say what he wanted to say to Black America and to all of America, and that's how our relationship started back there in the 70s. So again, I just want you to know that indeed that there are those, I think 2 or 3 have already basically put out a press release indicating they're going to denounce them, Minister Farrakhan, and there are those others that basically are getting pressured by the conservative element to do just that, to basically ask them to do the same thing. And of course, they're asking Keith Ellison to basically resign as the Democrat Party, the National Party chairperson, vice chairperson, and asking him to do this, that. And so it's just kind of interesting, just very, very interesting. It's also interesting what's going on in Washington, what's going on in the White House. And obviously, my sister brothers, I don't know how in the world that President Trump can really survive like the way he's really running this country and the way he's basically having the turnovers. It's amazing. It's just really amazing, and that somehow, some kind of way, when you have an opportunity, whether regardless of how you got in there, once you become president of these United States, the most powerful country in the world, that you just can't go somewhere and become presidential. Learn how to be presidential. Go to there ought to be a school or a class for 6 to 8 hours where you can just learn to be presidential. And it's just amazing that how money can basically, for so many people, just get them to a point where they're so egotistical. They so basically feel like they are self-made and self-promoted, and for the most part, he doesn't even speak to the whole country. I can't understand how in the world you're president of the United States. I know he spoke the State of the Union, but in terms of the issues, whether it's North Korea, or whether it's the Middle East, what's going on with Israel, that somehow, some kind of way that you at least once or twice, that you really speak to the whole country. You're the president of the whole country. And my sisters and brothers, that you always got to remember, and I tell a lot of pastors that come into a situation where perhaps they're split, the decision to be a pastor is split, and you just got to somehow, some kind of way, when the people that basically voted against you, you got to find a way to come to move them to your side, and you don't alienate them. You don't really try to fight them after you become pastor. You don't try to fight them. You just basically try to work with people and try to make sure that you can be a successful pastor. And so it is with President of these United States. How in the world can you continue to run this country with a overturn, this turnover that you have every week? And there's some are saying that there are 2 or 3 more that will be fired or dismissed, and that Ben Carson is on the word that I'm getting, and of course I don't have those kind of real reliable resources, but that Ben Carson he's on the chopping block as well, and obviously because of a mistake that he made in terms of ordering furniture in his office, but I'm sure it's more than just that. And again, for the most part, I just feel like Ben is just Dr. Carson. I don't want to be disrespectful, but Dr. Carson is just really, it's not really, because you do one thing well, don't mean you can do everything well. And sometimes because you can be a great surgeon does not mean you can be a great politician or run a office like HUD. And so I'm just saying to you, my sister and brother, that we just have some problems. We have some problems in this country. We have some problems in this world. And of course, then you have this immigration situation that, for the most part, it seems like the Democratic Party on the national level has forgotten all about our cause, all about our priorities as African Americans. They're working very hard to try to, and then this is not to be against anybody. It's just the fact is that every time we feel that we are on the cusp or on the getting close to some objective here in the African American community, and we come to find out we're getting pushed back to the back of the stove, and somebody else comes up front. And so you had the dreamers, and then you got now immigration, and you got what's going on in California and going on in New York, and then of course we got this gun situation that's going on in schools, but nobody talks about the guns that's killing African Americans across this country in major cities. So we got these kind of problems that basically we find ourselves up against, and where do you start? Where do you really start? Where do you really start? The leadership, you don't know, you don't hear nothing. At least I don't hear anything really about leadership, whether it's Jesse Jackson, whether it's Al Sharpton, whether it's the NAACP, whether it's the Urban League or the Mr. Farrakhan. The thing about it is, my sisters and brothers, we seem to be, from my point of view, seem to be a forgotten people at this particular point. And I just want to know what you think about it. It's 18 minutes after the hour. And in terms of where we really are with all these situations that we find ourselves in, from the White House and also to our house. And so again, I'm just saying to you is that we somehow, some kind of way, got to begin to think about how are we going to move and certainly advance our cause, and try to make sure that we get the health care for the poor, get education for urban America, getting jobs for those who basically you just stop looking for jobs, and all of that. And so again, I'm just saying to you is it just seems like we are in a what my grandmother would call we're really in a pickle. And so once again, we say good morning to you. 19 minutes after the hour. The numbers are out there on your television screen. It is the area code 313-868-0342, 868-0351, and 868-4336. Those are the numbers that's on your screen, and you're certainly welcome to give us a call this morning. I wanted to make sure that you put these 2 dates on your calendar. On next week, on the 21st, we have an open house for our culinary school, and I really want you to put if you would please put it on your calendar on the 21st, around about 11 to 1. We have the ribbon cutting ceremony around 1 o'clock. And I really want those of you who really follow me here on WHPR and basically very supportive of the things that we're trying to do in the North End and in the city of Detroit. I'm asking that you would indeed just put it on your calendar. If you could just come by and just spend an hour or so with us. As I said, we're talking about the opening up the culinary school. We've got a brand new kitchen and just rolling it out. We got about 70 some students that will start in April, the next month, when the semester starts. About 70 students that we have that will be enrolled. And I'm very proud of this. We've been working so hard to try to find something that indeed fits, and try to basically fit and try to change the culture to somewhat there on the North End, and by bringing education there. With Wayne County Community College District, we have an Urban Institute where we have various programs, and also, again, we have a GED for those of you who need a high school diploma. We had one of the largest graduations this past year for Wayne County Community College in terms of GED, the GED programs. Had one of the largest. And I'm just saying that I'm just so proud, because my sister brother, people understand that the way we're going to be able to get out of this poverty and get out of this situation that we find ourselves in, for the most part, we're going to have to educate our way out. And the way we do that, of course, is we got to make sure that we do the fundamentals, and that is get a high school diploma, and then try to find a career and get trained for that, so that you can basically take care of your family, take care of your children, and have the pursuit of happiness that basically that this country should offer to all of us. And so I'm just saying to you is that put it on your calendar for the 21st. And then on April the 13th, you don't want to miss this. We're working so hard to put a wonderful team together, working so hard to have one of the largest job fairs in southeastern Michigan. We got about 52 employers and skilled trades. All of those that would be there already committed. We got workshops, expungement workshops. We got how to dress, how to do resumes, how to dress to impress. About 6 workshops that would be there. And so I'm just saying to you what we are doing to make sure that you just understand what's going on in this city, and that we got to get on board. We just got to get on board of what's going on. And of course, Wayne County Community College District is a partner with us in doing this. And we have GED, we got the Wayne County Mental Health with us as a partner. There's about 6 or 7 people that really helping us to put this together. But obviously, Wayne County Community College, who does so much to try to make a difference in this community, for the not only just for the county, but for the whole region. And so again, we just want you to know, my sisters and brothers, if you would please put that on your calendar on the April the 13th, like at 9 o'clock in the morning, and to register, and it goes up to 3 o'clock. We basically are, as I said before, we got skilled trades that's coming in, and that you can basically talk to them. How can you get involved in it? And then we also got employees that basically are there to take your resume and give you a job. And then also that there are people there, about 6 companies that really work with people who who are who basically come as reentry for ex-offenders. They are able to also they have these 6 companies that hire people that's coming out of prison. They feel like many times, for the most part, those who do coming out of prison and they hire them, they're some of the best workers that they have, and they would tell you that, and so they would be there. We're expecting 15 to 2,000 people at this particular. You will see billboards on the highway. You will see advertising on this station as well as other stations. You will see where we have editorials in the paper. We have ads in the paper, and so I'm just saying to you is we're doing everything we can. Excuse me, to get the word out, and so that we can basically make sure that we make an impact on people that's from 18 and up. And again, my sisters and brothers, it's so important that we understand what's going on in this city, and it's so important that we got to get ready for it. And then, of course, we are working with vocation, with the school system, and in terms of vocation, carpentry, mason, plumbing, those kind of things. Working with the Detroit public school system, and so I'm just saying to you, is indeed we're doing everything we can, humanly possible, to do what we can to try to hook you up with a job, with a career. And we have a workshop on entrepreneurship. We'll have a workup on how to get grants, where the grants really are, so that you don't just go fishing. You go where the fish are really biting, and we feel like we know where they're really biting, so we'll let you know where you can start writing these grants, and knowing that you have an opportunity to get resources for your project, resources for your business, resources for something that you've been trying to do for a number of months or a number of years. So again, saying all of that, we're just trying to make sure that we get you to really get the word out. Just get the word out, and that indeed, one, that if you're thinking about cooking, think about culinary school. It will be opening up. We've got about 70, a little over about 70 students that we have signed up for enrollment. Has already have qualified, and I'm so happy about that. And so we have an open house that you might see these brand new kitchens, see what we've done at the Constantine Little Rock Recreation Center. Obviously, we have a part of the center as a education, and then the other part for recreation. We're working with a couple of foundations that's coming in and looking at the recreation piece. That we might trying to get the Pistons to do the flooring, and that the floor would look like the floor that they have downtown, and they would have a duplicate of that floor at Constantine. The Pistons used to practice at Constantine, and they have history there, and so we made some contact with them, and they asked us to put this proposal together, and we're doing just that, so that we can open up the swimming pool, open up the gym, open up the handball rackets. What we want to do also is not only the education and the recreation, but also we want to put a banquet hall there that basically would seat about 350 people, so that you have a way of getting away from of just begging all the time. You just, every time you turn around, you got to get the roof fixed, you got to beg. If you get the furnace fixed, got to get the furnace fixed, you got to go begging. And somehow, some kind of way, what you have to do is put things in place so that you can basically be self-sustaining. And so what we're trying to do is putting a banquet hall there. We got to redone the parking lot and the lighting in the parking lot, secured the place where you can have valet parking as well as self-parking. And then, as I said before, that we would have about 350 of a facility that will hold about 350 people, state of the art. So we're trying to put that together. So I'm just saying to you, my sisters and brothers, that if there's nothing else you can do, just be supportive. If you can just be supportive, be prayerful, and just be supportive. And so again, I'm just asking on the 21st next week, that from 11 to 1 o'clock we have the ribbon cutting ceremony at 1 o'clock, to come and just be with me at the Considine Little Rock, 8904 Woodward Avenue, and see what we've done. A state of the art of facility for culinary. But also remember, my sister and brother, we have a business school there, and this business school is run by Clary University, and of course this business school offers a bachelor's degree in business, a CPA degree in business, financing. We're talking about a couple other programs that we are basically putting in there. And so again, when you have Wayne County Community College that's offering you various programs, but more than anything else, a chance to get your GED and then move in a positive way, whether it's Wayne County Community College or whether you want to go to culinary or whether you want to go to business, or you can do the 200 or 300 programs that they have at Wayne County Community College. There's options. And one of the most beautiful things about life is when you have options. And what we're trying to do is offer you options, just options. Many people just don't have the options. One of the things I'm very blessed about, even at this point in my life, that I have options. You kind of do what you feel like you've been called to do, and all of us have a calling in our life. All of us have a calling, and what I mean by that is that you have a niche that's in your soul, and that somehow, some kind of way, you got to hook up that niche with your soul, knowing that you have the passion to do this, the passion to do that. A lot of times I have people to say, "Well, Rebbe, I don't want to bother you," but that's you don't. How do you bother? That's what I do. What I do is talk to you. What I do is try to help you. What I do is try to point you in this direction or that direction. But I know you're busy. Well, that's what I do. I mean, that's what I do. Well, I know you got a lot on your heart and you got a lot on your shoulder. Well, that my shoulders are big enough. When you have that calling, then God gives you a shoulder that basically can carry many burdens, and a shoulder that's from a spiritual standpoint is wider than the physical, because that's your calling. And you have this. You show me somebody, my sister and brother, don't have passion in what they do. I don't want to be around them. If you in a restaurant and you don't have the passion of waiting and making sure I'm served and making sure you get the order right and make sure the food that's hot is supposed to be hot and the food is supposed to be cold is cold. The coffee is supposed to be hot if you want cold hot coffee, whatever it is. But if you that passion, and therefore you don't mind not only tipping but over tipping them, because you can see the passion. If you're washing the dishes, you ought to have the passion. The passion, understanding that indeed, if I want to go from the washing the dishes, to the cook, and from the cook to the chef, and the chef to the ownership. You have to have the passion. And I'm just saying to you, my sisters and brothers, that you show me a pastor that don't really have the passion of what he does. I show you one that basically is not really called. He went. He wasn't sent. He just went on his own, but he wasn't sent. Because God gives us this sense of what we need in order for leadership, what we need in order that we might be able to help our brothers and our fellow man. And so I'm just saying to you is indeed, just be with me on this, if you would please, on the 21st next week from 11 to 1 for the ribbon cutting. And just see what we've done. We've put about $600,000 in this facility, brand new state-of-the-art equipment for the kitchen, where we can have about 60 to 70 students in one kitchen. And you got about 16 preparation areas that you can show young people how so the teacher can work with them. And so again, we're working so hard to try to find cosmetology and try to put something like that in place, because I know for the most part that we call ourselves a hair capital of the world, but basically we don't have we have the name, but we don't have the substance, of being the hair capital of the world. I remember going to India when I saw this movie with Chris Rock about hair. And so I went to India and trying to do a deal with, because I felt like India has some of the best hair for extensions and that kind of a thing, that many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And went there and try to work this thing out with them so that I can basically get in the hair business. And then we'll forget that, But again, it just didn't pan out. But it was an interesting experience, just an interesting experience. And it's amazing to me that right now that you have foreigners that really are got all of do our nails and sell our nail products and sell our hair products to us. They sell our products that we use to us. I think I told you this story, and I apologize if I'm being redundant for many of you, but as when I was in Ghana and found out trying to get shea butter here in the United States, and to try to put a distribution center together. And to make a long story short, when I was there in Ghana and went to the northern part of Ghana, where the women were basically packing it and mining it and packing it and basically selling it to somebody that was I forgot where he was from, but he was not from Ghana. He was not from the United States, but he was a foreigner there in Ghana, and basically he would buy it from them, the women in the northern part of Ghana, and then he would repackage it and send it to New York, and New York basically was Korean operated, and so you follow the trail from Ghana to New York, and that was Korean, and then you follow from New York to Detroit, it comes right back to being again Korean, and you come to realize, my sister brothers, that you got products coming from Africa through the hands of others to get to us, and they're making mint off of it. They're making money, big money off of it, and somehow, some kind of way. When I came to Detroit, many of these hair products that was sold to us were sold by African Americans, and now we've lost that. We've lost all of that, and at the stores, when I came to Detroit in 1969, we had many stores that were owned in our community, and we lost all of that. When I came here in 1969, we had several gas stations owned by African Americans, and we've lost, for the most part, many of them. And then we had a major grocery store, there was about two of them there in 1969, and I think now, for the most part, we have got it down to one or none. I'm just saying to you, my sisters and brothers, instead of moving forward, we're moving back. Instead of going north, we're going south economically, and yet our people that as African Americans 30 to 70 years ago, they had less and did more, and we got more and doing less. We got a 1.9 trillion disposable income, and still basically are still consumers. And something is wrong with that. Something is really wrong with that. And so again, when our children, our young people come out of high school and they basically, the mentality is, let's go and work for somebody else, rather than try to put something together to basically working for having other people to work for them. So anyway, I know that I'm basically sort of, the point is, my sisters and brothers, somehow we got to change this paradigm. Somehow, some kind of way, we just got to put this thing back together. But again, without digressing too much, I just want to make sure you put this on your calendar on next week on the 21st, and then on April the 13th, that you make sure that the people in your family know that we have jobs galore to be that's going to be at this job fair, and understand, my sisters and brothers, that for so many of our young people, they have to understand that you got to look the part. You got to look the part. I know I sound like a dinosaur. I know I sound like, old fogey and stuff, but you just got to look the part, and like you really want to work, that you really have that you really want to, that you just not going there just to try to just to play with people and fool yourself. You got to understand, my sisters and brothers, that we get into the point in this country where you're going to have the have or the have-nots. And which one are you going to be? Do you want to be a have, or do you want to be a have-not? That's where we're coming into this country. That's where we're going. And you can see it as plain as day. You can see it as plain as day. They're trying to obviously get the middle class back together. But for the most part, my sisters and brothers, again, we're talking about basically those who got it and those who don't have it. And the question is what you want to do. Do you want to be which one do you want? And it's really left up to you. We've got some of the smartest and the brightest young people in this city. Smart, bright young people. And I remember I used to go to the NAACP and at the convention, and they would have I forget the name of the program that they would have, but you see how these young people would excel in every situation, whether it was opera and R&B, but sciences, engineering, doctors, what they wanted to be, and you can just see, with it was in them, and that that indeed they were going to be successful. We got so many people like that, not only in Detroit, but all around this world, around this country. I went to see the program, saw the movie last night for the first time, Panther, and enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed it very much, and you come out of there, you can see why it's doing so well. You can see why it's doing so well, but where you it's just very, it was entertaining, but it was also educational and inspirational. And so we took about 90 of our kids. We basically bought the theater out there on 8 Mile and Van Dyke, and took our kids, the church children there, that they might be able to see it. Sponsored by one of our members, and so I'm just saying to you is that, and then after that we had a dialogue and just to have a conversation what they thought about the movie, what did they think, what impressed them. And one of the things were the young girls, the young people were basically saying they were seeing these women in there that were warriors, but also scientists, great thinkers, and warriors. I mean, it was just really a very good, very well done. As I said before, you can see why it's making over $1 billion some money throughout the world. And of course, I'm glad they're going to, because I never seen, I think it was 20 minutes of credits and people that participating in the movie. I mean, they got a big payroll, so they're going. I'm glad they're going to get that kind of money, because they got a big payroll. But again, it was just very well done. Written by blacks, directed by blacks, produced by blacks, and played for 99% of African Americans. So I'm just saying to you, my sisters and brothers, I mean, it's just something that you can be very proud of. To be an African American, you can be proud of. You don't have to have the sex and all this kind of stuff. But it was intellectual at the same time, inspirational, as well as entertaining. And if you haven't seen it yet, I suggest that you do that. It's right now 13 minutes to the hour. Caller, thank you for your patience. Hurry this morning.
You are absolutely correct. I finally got to see the Black Panthers movie. It was excellent. But if you do your research, more white people made billions off of this movie than black. But that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me mostly right now is the positivity, the images,
right,
that is long overdue for us to show our children who they are and
right,
their identity and their abilities.
Right.
And that to me is very important. And I'm on my way to my swim sauna to get away from this world's drama. When will we tear down these walls, Reverend Holly? The walls of nationalism, racism, sexism, and the list goes on that constantly intervenes and cause man-made poverty. It's time out. And then we worry about this president. Oh, is he going to be impeached? Okay, my question is, Reverend Holly, when they impeach him, all we're going to get is his dictating boss to replace him. So it doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter the sex, the color, and the party. They control the politics and the religious and almost any and everybody.
Okay.
I don't know who and what to vote for no more, because I'm convinced that your vote is a joke, because these people that the behind-scenes ruthless elite that's controlling everything can change your yes to a no and your no to a yes for profit. So it's hard.
Yeah.
But I do want to acknowledge Claude Anderson, and I can't think of the other guy, but those are some powerful minds that we need to collectively bring in and have town hall meetings on how and what we need to do to get this group economics that we need so badly.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping maybe you and some of the other ministers that really care about our communities and our youth and our future of our youth to get together with these power brokers, like mine, that don't have a problem with trying to turn and change the times.
Right.
Thank you for taking my call.
And thank you for the call. Caller, thank you for calling. How are you this morning?
Oh, just aside, Reverend Holly, we love and respect you. You've been our brother down through the years, always doing and saying and keeping us inspired, which I'm not inspired about the present, how the world is going. I'm
Yeah.
really very frightened for my great-grandchildren. What kind of world will they have? But you know what, Reverend, I haven't seen the movie, and but I'm just amazed. You know that money will not come to Main Street. There will be a few African people who will be wealthy. Most of the African people that are in that movie are already wealthy. They already live in a very luxurious neighborhood. Their children go to the best schools around the world. You understand me? So I mean, it's not. It won't change their lifestyle. But I don't think that movie. I'm amazed at all the money that went there. You know, I'm not amazed about the people in the movie and the parts that they play because African men built the pyramids. You understand me?
Yeah.
We were never a dumb people.
Right.
We was plundered into poverty. By European invasions into by European invasions into Africa and Asia.
Yeah.
We was plundered, kicked, murdered, robbed, raped. Into that, we were the first people. I'm not surprised by that movie. From what I've heard, you know, I haven't seen the movie. You know, the only thing African people, but by nature not being a violent people,
Yeah.
we didn't advance modern warfare.
Yeah.
We didn't put the bullets together, and we have all the supplies for making bombs in Africa. The Europeans have to come in Africa to make nuclear bombs. They got to have that. What is that? I can't think of it now. Anyway, you know, senior mama. But you know, so black men were the first men on the planet. They built you know what, Reverend Holly? I heard some white European researchers that they want to suggest that somebody came out the sky and came down there and built the pyramid. They just do not want the people to know that African men built the pyramid.
Yeah,
you understand me?
Right.
And so the movie, it's unfortunate that, you know, we could have 2 million black males saving $10 per month for 12 months. And 12 months, you can have $240 million. Give 50,000 black males $1 million each to take care of their family. Because, Reverend Holly, come on now. You know, when you take money from corporations, just like they telling them to distance themselves from foreign countries, when you take money from corporations, bankers, lobbyists, special interests, military, you have to, you can't say certain things. You can't be free in thought, okay, when you take money from other people. You cannot. You know you can't. You cannot. If you take money from corporations, you have to remain in a certain lane, and that's it. You cannot be a free thinking person. So unfortunate, all of those billions of dollars are going to go to corporations and to their neighborhood. It will not come to our neighborhood. That's what is so unfortunate about that. We have got to put economic plan together in our neighborhood to save our children so they can be independent in thought. This man in the White House plans to start. Please, young men, don't go out here and sell drugs. They want the death penalty, just like in the Philippines. They go around in the Philippines, and if persons is strung out, they shoot them right there, and they kill people that they say are drug dealers. Well, Reverend Howard, where does the drugs come from? Is that Afghanistan heroin that is making its way into America?
Say it again.
Is that Afghanistan heroin that is making its way to America?
No, it's coming from Mexico.
Oh, well, come on,
and also from Afghanistan.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So and he wants to have a death penalty for young men. Don't do it.
Okay.
You all can just go out there, put $10 per month times $2 million, that's $240 million, and enrich and empower yourself and be independent in thought. Sending your children to college, sending your wives to college, buying property in your own neighborhood with your own money that you pull together. You're never going to get. What is that they want? They want the government to give you money for the enslavement reparations. It's not going to happen, brothers and sisters.
Okay, thank you.
This government is not going to give African people reparations. The only thing we can do is pool resources together. I mean, young black males, you got to do it yourself. I'm gonna tell you. And please don't go out here and decide to. I know young black males who were trying to stay in college by selling drugs. Please don't do it.
All right,
okay,
thank you.
they want the death penalty for you, and those drugs come into America. Just like Reverend Holly, well, during Vietnam, they used to sow the drugs up in the dead soldiers, and that's how the drugs used to get here from Vietnam.
Right.
Don't be fooled by
Thank you.
read and understand the structure and function of the American government.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for the call. 14 minutes, 4 minutes to the hour. But one of the things you got to see the movie, and again, obviously we know about the pyramids, but many of our young people today, history has somehow just eluded them. It has passed many of them. But when you see this movie, it brings history, yes, but it all has a sense of existentialism. What's going on right now? For example, the medicine that they have advanced medicine. They have much of the technology advanced, and so this basically is a country that black people run and advance far more than the whole world. And of course, the question, is, do they want to share their knowledge with the rest of the world? And that's where it ends up what they decided to do. But I'm just saying to you is that again, again, these young people that would see something like this, and many of them have, they come out of there with a sense of a purpose and a sense of inspiration, and so although you're right about the pyramids and about our history and all like that, but I'm also saying to you that then again, this brings things up to date, kind of a thing, and gives young people understanding that blacks are they're still smart. They're still smart, but the movie can relate to this generation, which for the most part people like me can't. Right now, again, we're working our way to the top of the hour. I need to take a short break and come back after that and take your phone calls. The numbers are right there on your television screen. What we're talking about, for the most part, it's really whatever you want to bring up, you're welcome to do that. My thing, of course, is trying to make sure that you know about the two events. One next week, where we open up our culinary school open house, and then on April the 13th, where we have one of the largest job fairs in southeastern Michigan. It's going to be huge, and I want to make sure that you put it on your calendar and make sure that people have an opportunity to get jobs. These are real jobs, and again, and they will be there for you. And so again, I just wanted to let you know you're with us this morning. Jim Holly here with you on this Saturday morning. It is the 17th day of the month. The year is still the same. The temperature today is going to be 45 degrees. The high for today right now, we're talking about 29, 31 degrees on both sides of the street. We'll be right back.